My stepchildren said I'd never earn their respect, just their tolerance. So I stopped earning their allowances and phone bills too. Their bio-dad's child support didn't cover the difference. Hello everyone, welcome to Reddit Visuals. You know what's funny? Spent 5 years trying to be a father to kids who saw me as nothing more than a walking ATM. And the moment I closed the account, suddenly I became important. I'm Dan. I'm 42, a civil engineer, and I used to think that love, consistency, and showing up meant something. That if you poured enough of yourself into people, they'd eventually see your worth. I was wrong. This is the story of how my stepkids told me I'd never be more than tolerated, and how I made them realize that tolerance doesn't pay phone bills. Let me take you back 5 years, to when I was still naive enough to believe I could blend into a broken family and help fix it. I met Tara at an engineering conference in Boston in the spring of 2020, right before the world shut down. She was there representing her architectural firm, and we ended up at the same dinner table after a keynote. She was sharp, funny, exhausted in that way single parents always are, and completely magnetic. She told me up front she had 2 kids, Eli, who was 12 at the time, and Harper, who was 14. Their dad had left 3 years prior for a woman he met at his gym. Classic midlife crisis story. He paid child support when he remembered to, which was about 60% of the time. Tara had moved from Arizona to New Hampshire for a fresh start and a better job. She was trying to rebuild her life while raising 2 teenagers who were angry at the world. I wasn't looking to be anyone's savior. I was just a guy who'd spent his 30s married to his career, and here was this incredible woman who made me want something more. We dated long distance for 6 months, me in Portsmouth, her in Concord. Then I started making the drive every weekend. And not just for Tara. I genuinely wanted to get to know Eli and Harper. At first they were cold, not hostile, just walled off. Harper would barely look up from her phone. Eli would give one-word answers. I didn't take it personally. Their dad had abandoned them. Why would they trust another man walking into their lives? But I kept showing up. I helped Harper with her algebra homework because Tara was drowning in deadlines. I taught Eli how to fix his bike chain when it kept slipping. Small things, dad things. Things their actual father couldn't be bothered to do during his every other weekend custody that he usually canceled anyway. After a year and a half, Tara and I got married. Small ceremony, just immediate family. The kids were fine with it. Not excited, but not resistant. I sold my condo and moved into their house in Concord. That's when I really became the provider. Here's what nobody tells you about being a step-parent. You get all the responsibility with none of the authority. And if you're a decent human being, you step up anyway because kids shouldn't suffer just because adults can't get their act together. I made good money, solid 6 figures. Tara made decent money too, but with 2 teenagers, it was never enough. And Mark, their dad, his child support was a joke. $400 a month per kid when he actually paid it. That's $800 a month, and it was supposed to cover half of everything. Do you know what teenagers cost? So I covered the gap, and the gap was massive. I paid for their school supplies, new laptops when theirs died, sports fees, music lessons, clothes, shoes, school trips. Harper needed braces, $4,500 that Mark said he'd split, but never did. That came out of my pocket. Eli wanted to join the travel soccer team, $2,200 for the season, plus gas money for away games. I handled it. I paid their phone bills, added them to my car insurance when they started driving, gave them each a $50 weekly allowance because Tara thought it was important they learn to manage money. And I never, not once, held it over their heads. I never said, I pay for this, so you owe me respect. I just did it because that's what a parent does. But here's the thing I learned too late. When you give without boundaries, people don't see generosity. They see weakness. For 3 years, I was the guy who solved problems. Need money for prom? Ask Dan. Want to go to that concert? Dan will drive you. Forgot to do your homework and need help at midnight? Dan's still awake. Tara would kiss me on the cheek and say I was amazing. The kids would mumble thanks and go back to their phones. I told myself it was enough, that eventually they'd warm up, that I was playing the long game. But they never asked about my day, never invited me to things that mattered to them. Harper's art show at school, I found out after it happened. Eli made varsity soccer? He told his mom, who forgot to tell me. I was present, but I was invisible. And the worst part? Tara didn't see it. Or maybe she did, and chose to ignore it because it was easier than dealing with her kids' emotional walls. Whenever I'd bring it up, she'd say, "They're teenagers, Dan. They're like this with everyone," but they weren't. I'd watch them laugh with their friends, light up when their dad actually showed up for once, call their grandparents just to chat. It was just me they treated like furniture. Still, I kept going, because I loved Tara, and because I genuinely cared about those kids, even if they didn't care back. It all shattered on a random Tuesday in April, 2 months before Harper's graduation. I'd left work early because a client meeting got canceled. I came home around 4, and the house was supposed to be empty. Tara was showing a property across town, and the kids usually didn't get home until 5, but I heard voices upstairs. Harper's room. Both kids were home early. I was about to call out when I heard Eli laugh and say, "Dude, I'm just saying, if Mom and Dan break up, we're screwed financially." I froze at the bottom of the stairs. Harper replied, "They're not breaking up. Mom's not stupid. She knows what she's got." "A walking checkbook?" They both laughed. My hand gripped the banister. Then Harper said something that burned itself into my brain. "Look, Dan's fine. He tries way too hard, but whatever. He's never going to be our dad. We don't owe him anything beyond basic tolerance. And honestly, he should be grateful we even give him that much." "Tolerated," Eli snorted. "That's literally the perfect word. We tolerate Dan." I walked back outside, got in my truck, drove to a parking lot and sat there for 2 hours. Tolerated. 5 years. 5 years of showing up, paying up, giving a damn. And I was tolerated. Not loved, not appreciated, not even respected. Just endured. I didn't explode. I didn't confront them that night. I've never been that guy. I did something worse. I started paying attention. I watched Harper roll her eyes when I reminded her to do her chores. Watched Eli put his earbuds in mid-conversation when I was talking. Watched them treat their mom with love and me with tolerance. I saw how Tara would laugh off their disrespect. "They don't mean it like that," she'd say. Or, "You're taking it too personally." 2 weeks after the overheard conversation, Harper came to me while I was making dinner. "Hey, Dan." Super casual. "So, graduation's coming up and I've been looking at cars. I don't need anything fancy, just something reliable to get to community college. I found a Honda Civic for like $6,000. Could you help me out?" Not, "Would you?" "Could you?" The assumption was breathtaking. I put down the knife I was using to chop vegetables. "Help you out how?" She blinked. "I mean, you know, like you always do. Maybe co-sign a loan or just help with the down payment. Mom said you'd probably be cool with it." "Did she?" "Yeah. You've basically been our dad for 5 years now. You've always come through." I looked at her. Really looked at her. Saw the expectation in her face. The entitlement. "Harper, let me ask you something. Do you respect me?" She hesitated. "What kind of question is that?" "A simple one. I mean, yeah, you're fine. Fine. Dan, what's going on?" "I overheard you and Eli 2 weeks ago. The tolerated conversation." The blood drained from her face. "So here's what's going to happen," I continued, my voice eerily calm. "I'm going to think about the car. But while I do, I want you to think about something too. Think about what it means to tolerate someone. And think about whether tolerance comes with a $6,000 price tag." She left the kitchen without another word. That night, after Tara went to bed, I sat at my desk and built a new budget. One that didn't include 2 cell phone lines, $140 per month saved. Weekly allowances, $400 per month saved. Gas money, $200 per month saved. Spotify, Hulu, Netflix profiles, $30 per month saved. School lunch money, $180 per month saved. Emergency, spending money, $300 per month saved. Total, about $1,250 a month, or $15,000 a year, on top of the thousands in one-time expenses. The next morning I made the calls. I called Verizon and had their lines transferred to Tara's account. I canceled the automatic transfers to their checking accounts. I logged into every streaming service and removed their profiles. I sent an email to their schools removing myself as an emergency contact and financial backup. Then I sat Tara down. "I'm done," I said simply. "Done with what?" "Financially supporting your kids." She stared at me. "Excuse me. I'm not paying for them anymore. Not their phones, not their allowances, not their gas, not their extras, nothing beyond the basics that keep this household running." "Dan, what the hell has gotten into you?" "I'm tolerated, Tara." "Did you know that? Your kids tolerate me." That's the word they used. And you know what? Tolerance doesn't cost $15,000 a year. "You're being ridiculous." "Am I?" When's the last time either of them thanked me? When's the last time they included me in anything? When's the last time you stood up for me when they dismissed me? She went silent. "I've been a wallet in khakis for 5 years. That ends today. You can't just pull the rug out from under them. Watch me. Their father pays child support. You make good money. Figure it out." We fought for 3 days straight. She called me petty, cruel, vindictive. Said I was punishing children for being children. I told her they were 17 and 19 years old enough to understand basic human decency. She threatened to leave. I told her I'd help her pack. On day 4, she stopped fighting. Not because she agreed, because she realized I wasn't budging. Harper noticed first. Her phone got shut off the day the billing cycle ended. She came to me confused. "My phone's not working." "Talk to your mom." "It's on her account now." "What? Why?" "Because I'm not your father. Remember? Just some guy you tolerate." Her face crumpled. "Dan, ask your real dad for help." Eli's reaction was worse. He came at me angry. "What's your problem, man?" "You're seriously cutting us off over something we said in private?" "No," I said calmly. "I'm cutting you off because you're right. I'm not your dad. And I'm tired of pretending that paying for your life will eventually make you see me as family. This is such bullshit." "Then call Mark. Ask him to cover it. He doesn't have money like you do." "Then I guess you'll figure out how to manage on what he does have." Within a week, both kids went to their father. Mark, sensing an opportunity to look like the hero, made big promises. He told Harper he'd co-sign for a car loan, told Eli he'd pay for his SAT prep course and help with college applications. For 2 weeks, the kids acted like they'd upgraded, like Mark was swooping in to show me up. Then reality hit. Harper called me crying 3 weeks later. Mark's help with the car came with conditions. He'd co-sign only if Harper moved in with him and his new wife, Bethany, and their 3-year-old daughter. Not as a guest, as free childcare. Every weekend, every evening, Bethany had plans. Harper lasted 2 weeks before she called Tara, sobbing, asking to come home. Eli's situation was almost worse. Mark sent him a $30 SAT prep book from Amazon and a link to Khan Academy. When Eli asked about the actual prep course I used to pay for, $800 for 6 weeks of intensive tutoring, Mark said, "You don't need to waste money on that stuff. Just study hard." The same man who'd bought himself a $50,000 truck the year before. Eli stopped talking to his dad, stopped visiting, and for the first time in 5 years, I saw him cry. He came into the garage one Saturday while I was organizing tools. Just stood there. "Yeah?" I said, not looking up. I was an asshole. I kept organizing. "Dan, I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much you did. I thought you were just there. But you weren't just there. You were actually there." I finally looked at him. His eyes were red. "I don't need you to worship me, Eli. I never did. I just needed to be seen as a person who gave a damn. I see it now. Now that it's gone. I know that's messed up, but I'm sorry." Harper's apology came a few days later. Less tears, more shame. "I took you for granted," she said quietly. "I thought you'd always just be there, no matter what." "Why would I?" I asked. "What did I get in return?" She didn't have an answer. Tara and I didn't make it. The kids' crisis revealed something we'd both been avoiding. She'd let me be a doormat for years because it was easier than parenting her kids through their resentment. Every time I'd tried to set a boundary before, she'd undermined me. "They've been through so much," she'd say. "Just give them time." 5 years was apparently not enough time. We fought constantly that summer. About the kids, about respect, about how she'd used me to give them a lifestyle their father wouldn't provide while letting them treat me like I was invisible. "I never asked you to do all that," she finally screamed during one fight. "You didn't have to ask," I said quietly. "You just had to stop them from treating me like a stranger in my own home." We filed for divorce in August. It was amicable on paper, cold in reality. She moved back to Arizona to be near her sister. Harper went with her to start at a community college there. Eli stayed in New Hampshire for college. He'd gotten into UNH with partial academic scholarship, which, ironically, I'd helped him prep for before the cutoff. It's been 8 months. Eli texts me weekly, sends me memes, asks for advice about classes and girls and whether he should change his major. He came over last month to help me build a deck, and we ordered pizza and watched the game like we used to. It's not perfect, but it's real. Harper calls every few weeks. It's stilted sometimes, but she's trying. She sent me a card on Father's Day. Inside, she'd written, "Thank you for being the dad who showed up, even when we didn't deserve it. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner." I cried reading that. Tara and I barely speak. When we do, it's civil. She never apologized for enabling their behavior, but I've made peace with that. As for Mark, last I heard, Harper doesn't talk to him anymore. Eli sees him maybe twice a year out of obligation. Turns out being the fun dad doesn't mean much when your kids actually need you. Here's what I learned from all of this. Love without respect isn't love. It's exploitation with a smile. Being a step-parent means you'll give more than you get for a long time, maybe forever. But there's a difference between delayed gratitude and being used. And the hardest truth? Sometimes the only way people learn your value is by losing access to it. I don't regret loving those kids. I don't regret the years I spent showing up, paying up, and trying to be a father figure. But I do regret not standing up for myself sooner. I regret letting Tara convince me that being disrespected was just part of the process. If you're in a blended family and you feel like you're tolerated instead of valued, hear me. You deserve better. Set the boundary. Have the hard conversation. Stop lighting yourself on fire to keep people warm who won't even acknowledge you're burning. Because here's the thing they don't tell you. When you finally stop, you'll find out real quick who actually valued you and who just valued what you provided. And that truth, as painful as it is, it will set you free. So I'm asking you, was I wrong? Was cutting them off too harsh? Should I have handled it differently? Was I the asshole for stopping financial support after learning I'd never be more than tolerated? Let me know in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you would have done in my shoes. And if this story resonated with you, if you found yourself nodding along or feeling seen, please hit that like button and subscribe. It helps us bring more real stories to this channel. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.